Just double check those. If it's on green, it's just ready to come on, so it'll just leave it a bit of time to come on. Check 1, 2, 3.
Check 4, 5, 6.
How's that?
Testing it.
Does everyone want to just have a quick test around the room? Councillor Carroll?
Hello.
Thank you. Councillor Beck, we've heard. Councillor Bill? Councillor Tim?
Hello.
Councillor Nancy? Councillor Melissa? Councillor Megan?
Two.
Councillor James? Councillor Kerry? Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your attendance, and a particular welcome to all those in the gallery and those watching online. This afternoon is a special meeting with the item of business to appoint a Deputy Mayor for the Toowoomba Regional Council. As I say, the meeting is open to the public and will be live streamed and recorded. And I'd like to thank everyone that is in the room, council colleagues particularly. Thank you for your attendance this afternoon, and we look forward to having a result this afternoon and acknowledging and welcoming the new Deputy Mayor for the Toowoomba Regional Council at the conclusion of the meeting. Item number 1, council, is the opening of the meeting and acknowledgement to traditional owners, and therefore I acknowledge the Aboriginal parties whose songlines traverse these lands we meet on today. The Western Waka Waka, the Guyval and Djarowa peoples, and pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the knowledge, rich traditions and bold ambitions of Australia's first peoples. Acknowledging Acting CEO Nick Hauser and other members of the executive leadership team and staff in the room as well. Item number 2, councillors, is the attendance, including apologies, leave of absence and granting of leaves. There are no apologies, councillors. No leave of absence has been recorded at this point. Are there any leave of absence that anyone would like to record, being a special meeting? No leave of absence. Then we move then to item number 3, councillors, which is the confirmation of minutes.
Chair,
Councillor Nancy.
you didn't deal with conflicts of interest, and I'd like to discuss something if we could.
We will get to that when we get to the standing orders, Councillor Nancy. So
All right.
after number 5, if you don't mind, because it'll refer to those particular items, I'd say, and particularly around nominations, I would suggest. So until we know what nominations are, I would assume that we don't know what conflicts there are. So we need to call for nominations first before we know if there are conflicts. So that's why it's in when we close for standing orders. So item number 3, councillors, is the confirmation of minutes. And there was a special meeting of the appointment of mayor, in fact, last Friday. Can I have someone move? All was present. Moved by Councillor Rebecca, seconded by Councillor Bill. Those in favour? That motion's carried unanimously. Any business arising from the minutes of the previous meeting, I dare say there would be no business arising from there. So, councillors, we move to item number 5, which is suspension of standing orders for item number 6. Can I have someone move that we go to suspend standing orders? Moved by Councillor Carroll, seconded by Councillor Megan. Those in favour? That motion is carried. Now, councillors, we move then to the nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor. Councillor Bill?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Rebecca Onhoff.
Councillor Rebecca, you accept that nomination? Thank you. Any further nominations? Councillor O'Shea.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I'd like to nominate Councillor Megan O'Hara-Sullivan.
Councillor Megan, you accept that nomination? Any further nominations, councillors? Councillor Shine?
I'd like to nominate myself.
Clearly you accept that nomination. Councillor Kerry. Any further nominations? Councillor Tim?
Thank you, Chair. I would like to nominate myself for the position of Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Councillor Tim. Any further nominations, councillors, for the position of appointment of Deputy Mayor? No further nominations. Now, Councillor Summerfield, you mentioned a potential conflict of interest or declaration.
Yes, Chair. What I wanted to talk about was, you'll recall a couple of meetings last week where there was a lot of focus on close relationships should be considered in relation to whether there's a conflict of interest or not, and Councillor O'Shea was particularly questioned on that. But the one thing that hasn't been considered, which I believe should be considered also, is the opposite to that. So the negative, when people are negative towards each other. For me personally, I call it blue sky. And that is, I say something and there are a number of councillors in the room that always say the opposite. And so I kind of figure it's blue sky, and I always thought it was just my little saying, but then I saw a post the other day which reflected the same thing. And I think if you're going to have a conflict for close relationships, you've also got to have a conflict for negative relationships. So I think that's something that should be considered.
So, Councillor, are you thinking that there is a conflict of interest that you'd like to declare, irrespective of whether it's for or against something? It can still be regarded as a conflict of interest, but it needs to have that contact.
No, I'm raising this today because I think it's something that should be considered at all of our meetings.
Sure, okay. So, given that Councillor Summerfield has raised that, is there anyone has a conflict of interest they would like to declare? Or anyone that knows of a conflict of interest that we should be helping each other out and supporting each other if there's a conflict? If there's no conflicts of interest, we then move to the nominees, and the order of nominees, Councillor Rebecca, Councillor Megan, Councillor Kerry, Councillor Tim. So each nominee has the opportunity for 2 minutes maximum to address councillors. That will then, so each nominee does that. Then we go back to reinstating standing orders, at which point we go in the same speaking order for a mover, if there's a mover, and a seconder for that particular person, we go to a vote. So that's the process once we get back out of, once we reinstate standing orders. So with those words, and so that we can all follow where we're going, I call on Councillor Rebecca Von Hoff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Councillors, what we do in these seats, in this job, is that we work for the community. From the Harristowns to the Haydens, we focus on the community. We give our energy, our time, our hearts to the community, and we respect the community. We live somewhere incredible. It's where my husband, who's here today, and I have decided to raise our children. This place has so much potential, and we are perfectly positioned to capture and grab that potential when we give our best and when each of our voices is heard. 10 people here today have been voted in by the residents of Toowoomba region because they see that each of us cares about them and this place. They see our strengths and how each of us can make a valuable contribution. In the past 3.5 years, I've demonstrated my respect for what each of us brings. We haven't always agreed, and thank goodness for it, because that's what democracy demands. I could spin around this room right now and easily talk about the moments when a colleague has raised a point that I hadn't previously considered and I found it compelling. I've truly heard what you've said, and sometimes that's meant a vote count of 9-2. But we do what we believe is right. Each of us has something valuable to give, and each of us is equally valuable. We look to the Office of the Mayor for stability and for vision leading to the future. I humbly ask for your support today to bring forward complementary perspectives so that the community gets the best of us, drawing on each of our contributions, equal, valid, worthy, important, respected and valuable as they are. Councillors, today is an opportunity. Let's show how much we've got to give for the people who have put their trust in us.
Thanks, Councillor Rebecca. Councillor Megan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have not prepared very well because it was only this morning that Councillor James told me that he was going to nominate me, and I am humbled by his nomination. Being a Deputy Mayor is not something that I have lobbied for or jostled for or felt that it was my right to have that as a position. I have always throughout this term and last term wanted to be a team player and be collegiate and learn from my colleagues, whether that be Joe Ramier, Mike Williams, Anne Glasheen, Chris Tate. I wanted to learn all I could before I felt that I had a position where I was elevated above other people. So to that point, I think my vision for the Deputy Mayor is someone who can support the Mayor. And I think that I have shown consistently that I am a calm, considered person that has consistently supported the Mayor. In fact, I nominated you twice for the Deputy Mayor position over this last term. Now, I think there has been a lot said about sexism at council, and I respectfully disagree with Councillor Carroll's statement last week at the meeting, because as we look around here, we do have gender parity, but I do think that having a female in that position, complementary to a male, shines a different light on the positions of Mayor and Deputy Mayor. And it's a fine line, isn't it, between, and Julia Gillard said it, she said, you know, how much, it's a thin line between talking about it too much and not enough. But I do think women see things from a different perspective, and so whether that should be part of the consideration or not, everyone always says it's the best person for the job, but I think for an organisation and for the community, we need, people can't be what they can't see, and I would like to see a female in this position. Because it's not just about people in public roles, it's about all women, everywhere. It's about women in the caring community. It's about women who don't get equal pay for equal rights. So I don't want to make too much of the gender thing, but I do believe that having diversity in any group of people brings a mixed result, and hopefully a good result. But I guess I want you to consider, councillors, I don't know that this term has been anything like our past term. My past term, I won't say it's been chaotic, but it's certainly, there's been some contentious issues, and I don't think that I have been at the centre of those contentious issues across the term. So I would like your support and know that my calm, considered approach to things will continue in that role. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Megan. Councillor Kerry.
Thank you. As we arrived at council today, I was reminded of the handwritten letter from my good friend Tom McVeigh, received when I was elected to Parliament. He quoting from his then leader, John McEwen, leader of the Country Party. "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak." It's high time we all heeded that advice. Today's vote is not about me, it's not about the Mayor, and it's not about us individually as councillors. It is about the 94,373 people who elected us to represent them. It's our job, sitting around this table, to deliver for them, to make their lives easier and to unlock economic opportunity in our region. And they want us to get on with the job. In my experience in politics, disunity and division are extremely counterproductive. They paralyse decision-making at the expense of the public. We have an opportunity here today to elect an united and proven leadership team that will put us in the best position possible for the benefit of the Toowoomba region. It is in the spirit of unity that I have approached my relationship with the Mayor, Jeff McDonald, over the last 3.5 years in the finance portfolio. It is a partnership of mutual trust and respect, and has proven to be very beneficial, I believe, for Toowoomba families. In running for this position, I do not seek the limelight. I've been there and done that in my time as a senior Cabinet Minister in Queensland. I do humbly offer my experience, having closely worked with key state and federal government decision makers over decades, including the current Premier, the Prime Minister, Queensland and federal treasurers and senior cabinet ministers. I ask for your support.
Councillor Kerry, thank you. Councillor Tim.
Thank you, Chair. Colleagues, the ability for a group of people to do remarkable things hinges on how well these people work together as a team. I don't know about you, but I'd certainly prefer to work with a group of colleagues that together our achievements would become remarkable rather than ordinary. I believe that the community is dying to see this teamwork from us. The idea that this group of people are all rowing in the same boat, in the same direction, is something I'm truly passionate about pursuing, hence my self-nomination today. I don't believe the role of Deputy Mayor is about a bigger soapbox. It's still one vote, one person. I realised very early on in this term, my first, that it was teamwork rather than individual merits that achieved results. I've enjoyed immensely building a working professional relationship with every member of our team. I didn't say best friends for Sunday lunch. I certainly didn't say with the absence of fierce, warranted debate, but a working professional relationship nonetheless, something I want to continue to see moving forward. I would like to outline one of the most prominent yet often absent characteristics of teamwork, in my opinion: trust. In general and in personal statement, I struggle to work with people I do not trust. This is not a foreign concept for us all in the political eye, as we know that the community struggles to elect people they do not trust. For us to properly move forward as a team, we first must move on from past hurts. We must learn to forgive where necessary, and we must seek to gain and develop trust amongst ourselves and each other. This important aspect of teamwork is something I'm very interested in spearheading. Finally, colleagues, I advocate for a continued reliance on the best practice standing orders that we have in front of us, rather than on the occasion I feel like we make it up as we go. I continue to advocate that all people around this table should have equal and ample time to express ideas and concerns. Colleagues, this is an 8-month commitment. I get asked 4 or 5 times a week, every week, if I've enjoyed my first term around council. The truth is, I have enjoyed it immensely. I've learnt, I've thrived, and I want to continue learning in the next step. That is why I'd humbly ask for your support. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Tim, and thank you to all nominees for your 2-minute presentation. I now ask that we reinstate standing orders. Can I have someone to move reinstate standing orders, please? Moved by Councillor Nancy, seconded by Councillor Tim. Those in favour? That motion is carried. So, councillors, we move to item number 6, which is the appointment of Deputy Mayor. And I just wanted to, for those in the gallery and those watching online, and for councillors, I know councillors I've certainly briefed councillors in regard to this. It is the Chair's prerogative to use a casting vote. It's the Chair's prerogative to do that. Whether they choose to do that or not, it is the Chair's choice. And so my commitment to all councillors was that when we have the first round of votes, I will not use a casting vote. If it's a 5-5, that vote will be lost and we move to the next person. If it turns that we have more than one nominee with 5-5, we go to the second round of votes in that same order, and again, it's my prerogative to use that casting vote. So that's the order of the process. That's how we will go, and we'll do it in a fashion that's befitting to leaders of a community by way of showing unity. That's my prerogative, and it's a way of me committing to working with any one of the nominees that have been put forward today, and you've accepted it. So I hope that it's taken in the spirit of what it is, which is around trust and teamwork. So, councillors, we move to the first nominee, which is Councillor Rebecca Von Hoff, keeping in mind that a majority is required, a majority which would be 6 in this case, 6 votes for that to be passed, or that nominee to be passed as the appointment of the Deputy Mayor. If the first nominee achieves those, that's the end of the section. There's no further. And we go to the second, the third and the fourth if required. We all clear on the rules of play? Gallery, you all clear? Very good. So, councillors, our first nominee, as I've mentioned, is Councillor Rebecca Von Hoff. I need firstly for a motion that Councillor Rebecca Von Hoff be appointed as Deputy Mayor, moved by Councillor Carl, seconded by Councillor Summerfield. We'll just pause there for a moment, Kirsten. You tell me when you're ready to go. We have a mover and a seconder, councillors. We now go to the vote. Those in favour of Councillor Von Hoff being appointed the Deputy Mayor of Toowoomba Regional Council, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 votes have concluded. Councillors, that's the end of the section. I'm pleased I took 20 minutes to explain how that works, but it is important because councillors, congratulations, Councillor Von Hoff. Councillors, there was some commentary made about teamwork today and about working together and trust. And I'll say it publicly as I did after the last meeting last time. I couldn't be more proud of leading an organisation with such a committed group of people who are passionate about their community. The one thing we will be building on is trust. And that started from last Friday afternoon after our meeting, and it continues on, and I can guarantee the community that this group of elected representatives will do their absolute best, every single day for the community, without doubt. And that's what we're committing to, and committing to it publicly here this afternoon. Congratulations, Councillor Von Hoff, on your appointment as Deputy Mayor. That concludes the meeting. Good afternoon.